G'day viewers, so happy to see you here, you have no idea. So this is a part where I tell you a bit about me. Who's this mysterious girl? We don't even know who she is. So, hi, I'm so pleased to meet you. My name is Drewie. Most people end up calling me Drewie because Drewie apparently is very hard to say and remember. Many have tried, most fail. AKA Hard Hat Mentor, as you know. Welcome. Oh, sorry, move on. I do digress. I'm just so happy to see you here. Okay, so where do we start? Keep it brief, Drewie, because I know about how the mind works and you're about to learn a hell of a lot about how the mind works. You're not going to stay with me for very long, even though you think you are. You're going to wander off with the fairies. It's called Alpha. Come back. You're probably wondering already. I've been working FIFO my entire life. I started the day I was 18. I'm 51, I think. Yeah. Oh, this is where you say, she looks so young. I live with an underground miner, have done for 20 years. Here's my sweetie. I thought the other day, actually, there are so many perspectives that are brought to this table, as many of you probably have too, because not only am I a FIFO worker, I'm a FIFO wife. I'm also a FIFO daughter. I am a FIFO sister. And I am a FIFO friend because, you know, my mum has recently retired, but she worked FIFO for many, many years. My stepdad still does. My sister, Big Blister, hey Mad Mumsy, still does. And my sweetie does. And all my friends do. Most of them, 98%, I would say. Because as you know, we are a breed. We get it. The reason that I believe we can help each other is just that. I've walked in your shoes in so many different roles as well. I've been a knuckle dragger. For years I was a knuckle dragger, and I use that term with such love and affection, full respect. So, you know, I was on the shovel under a crusher. I've been in a lab doing sample prep, then went to the wet lab, woohoo. Did my wrists in there, so went over to the processing plant, CIP Gold. This is many years ago, very early in my career. I was probably about 20 by then. No women had ever worked on that processing plant before, ever. So they thought I'd hang off the hose for a while and, go back to the lab. Not who I am. Ended up being a leading hand there, which was very, very cool. It was an old manual plant too, very old, very manual. None of this, press buttons business. It was hard work as well. I did some time underground with survey. I've been down in pits. You can cook eggs on the bonnets of cars down there, 60 plus degrees. Been down in the pits, sampling off drill rigs. So many different jobs. And then there came a time I knew I wanted to stay in. I knew I wanted to stay in this game because, I loved the life. I loved being out in the desert. The rosters were pretty harsh back then, even in operational mining sites. 6 weeks on, 1 off was standard in operations. Think about that for a minute. Nowadays, 2 and 1 is probably the harshest in operations, unless you're in exploration, but, that's a different kettle of fish. They're not too sexy today either, I did many, many, many years of 4 and 1 in construction, which is, expansion within the resources industry, many years of that as a safety weirdo. Another term I use with such full respect, safety weirdo. When we built Challenger in South Australia, the roster was 10 weeks on, 1 off. No shit. No shirt. You seen a good place? Fork! Why can't I say fork? Good place. Check it out. Anyway, there came a time when the very manual work was starting to get to me because I'm actually short. Oh, strong. I was very, very strong, but I'm only 5 foot nothing. Probably weighed about 45 kilo, wringing wet back then. And I was feeling it big time. And there was no, shouldn't go here, but there was no, you had to just do the job, which, as we should. But there wasn't the ergonomics and the manual handling and all the rest of it back then, and the way we did stuff was silly, really. Lugging 25 kilo bags of carbon up the top of the plant, many of them, silly. However, it was a journey. And my dad, who is also a very smart man, he said to me, if you want to, stay in the game for a long time, it's a lot smarter to be paid for what you know, not for what you do. And that really resonated with me. And thankfully, I took the steps to become qualified as a safety weirdo and a trainer. And, I did that for many years. It was hard, but very, very rewarding. And then evolved, I guess, into more of out of the traditional safety weirdo space and into leadership and culture. And, made a discovery a few years ago now, when I started working with psychologists. It was in the leadership space and aimed at safety, and started to learn that there were actually psychological concepts that have been around since Cocky was an egg back in the late 40s, early 50s, that was so true and correct and powerful that psychologists, coaches, many consultancies and counsellors, they fall noise on all of this stuff because it hasn't really changed that much. It's just where you aim it. These psychological concepts and the awareness of them about yourself, about your mind, and the tools that go with it, as in, okay, so now I know that, how can it help me and what can I do about it? When I learned all of this and then started sharing that with so many people in workshops, always in remote places, it was aimed at something else. This will be aimed dead ringer at FIFO and at the life. But when we shared it in workshops and then, of course, followed it up with in-field coaching, for the sustainability factor, the feedback always was, oh my God, I wish I'd known this years ago. Always. And of course, because it's about your mind, you don't leave it at work. They took it home and they would say to me, this has changed my life. It's very, very, very powerful stuff. I can guarantee you that you may have some of the same reactions and go, really? Oh, some of you, like when I found out about it, I thought, yeah, I do that. Oh, okay, I do that. So some people naturally have these traits. They naturally operate in this way. They naturally have certain mindsets, which means that they think, feel and do the way they look at the world in certain ways that actually helps the outcome. There's no accusatory things here and there's no judgments at all, because, many, many people have learned how to use these tools to positively influence their lives and everyone around them. One guy came back from break one day and he goes, oh, my missus thinks I'm having an affair. I'm there, why? And he said, well, because I keep talking about this chick on site and I'm so happier. I'm so much happier all the time. And she doesn't believe me that it's just from what we learned in the workshops and it's changed everything. Can you talk to her? I'm there, oh, careful what you wish for, hey? Anyway, there's only 2 rules. I've only got 2 rules for you. Now you're here and you're going to stay. Is please, the power you're about to acquire, only use it for good. Only use your power for good. And please pass it forward. Pass it forward in your sphere of influence as much as you can. There's so many ways to do that. Anyway, I'm going more into what this is all about. However, I live in Mandurah, WA, Western Australia. I've been with my sweetie about 20 years now. We both work FIFO, so, it works. We get it. I am not blessed with children. However, the rest of my family prolifically breed, so there's plenty of kids around. I used to say, when people said, do you have kids? I used to say, well, can't have a dog. How am I going to have a kid? Because we both work FIFO, so we can't have a dog. And we're dog people, very sad. But, that came across possibly not the way I intended. So now I just say, no, I'm not blessed with children. That's probably all you need to know about me. Is I've been kicking around these traps. Not my first rodeo. I am not your fucking guru. Don't profess to be. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a counsellor. I'm not a trained mental health worker. That's the only time you're going to hear me say that term. Because there's no need for it. I know our mindset and dare I, generalise, even that term can switch people off. Mental health, don't want to hear about it. And now we're hearing about it more and more. Maybe they think, that again. Won't use it. I'll talk about your social and emotional well-being until the cows come home. I'll talk about your psychological safety till the cows come home. Quite happy to say that. I'm just one of you. And I believe what I've learned and how much it's helped people should be shared. It really should. So that's why I'm here. That's what I'm going to do. At the moment, I still work for other consultancies, sharing various behavioural stuff, usually aimed at safety, leadership is really important, and that's very good too. This isn't about that. This is about FIFO. This is about the power that you've got already that you may not know about. So we're going to have some fun. I am not the sort of person who is going to bore you. However, there'll be times when I'll go, for no reason, you'll go. That's because I know how the mind works, and you're about to as well. You're going to have to come back, Dorothy. Anyway, I do digress. You'll find out heaps more about me on the blog. There'll be background articles, and also throughout our sessions, I'll be revealing all sorts of stuff. Shame you can't reveal, but you will with the wisdom of the crowd. So I am your fearless facilitator, Drewie. This is what I do for a living. My other half says, I can't believe you get paid to talk. Hell yeah, I do. We will be tackling some very serious issues. So there'll be times when I will be as professional and serious as required. But it won't last because life's too short for that. I am an ultimate optimist. There's going to be bubbles. I'll quote movies all the time because, I'm called Denozo from NCIS. Love movies. So there's going to be some fun. There'll be some happy dancing because I will dance. I'll ask you to show me your happy dance, even though I can't see it. And to quote another famous movie, there'll be no sex. But by God, there'll be dancing. My best friend's wedding. So, look, you get it. This is me. This is how it's going to be. There'll be no death by PowerPoint. Not a one. It's going to be us, like this, doing this. They'll be drawing on whiteboards and stuff, and you're going to have lots of material that you can take home to remember because, yeah, you're going to shove it straight into that subconscious, and there it'll stay until I trigger it back out of you. So, again, thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this. I've probably waffled on as I do. You ready to rock? I'll see you on the next bit. Cheers.